for another hearing to be held next week. Well, your initial request, that was. This was not accepted by the court. Now, you have seen the two decisions of the court that have been disclosed to you, and you are aware of the fact that these two decisions were refused. And this is by dint of the fact that this first initial appearance hearing does not need much preparation, as I have said to you on a number of occasions. I am now going to move on to the third stage, which is to set the date for the confirmation of charges hearing. After assessing all factors, including the need for the parties and participants to adequately prepare, as well as Mr. Duterte's rights, including his right to be tried within a reasonable time, the date for the commencement of the confirmation of charges hearing is September the 23rd, 2025. I would add that in accordance with Rule 1217 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, this date may be postponed by the Chamber depending on the progress of the proceedings, either on its own motion or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Before concluding this hearing, I would like to inform the parties of the next procedural steps. First, I would like to recall that in accordance with Rule 1212B of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the Chamber holds status conferences to ensure a small exchange of information under satisfactory conditions. These conferences are organised either ex officio or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Secondly, a set of decisions will be taken in a timely manner to ensure that the proceedings progress smoothly and expeditiously. More specifically, I am referring in particular to a decision on the arrangements and procedure for the disclosure of evidence, and a decision setting a timetable for the disclosure of evidence in such a way as to ensure orderly and efficient disclosure between the parties. In this regard, the Chamber orders the prosecutor to begin disclosing today the information on the basis of which the warrant of arrest was issued, and to complete this disclosure no later than within the next 7 days. The Chamber will also issue a decision on the participation of the victims who, according to the statute of the court and to the extent permitted by the Chamber, are authorised to present their views and concerns at this stage of the proceedings. We have come to the end of Mr. Duterte's first appearance hearing. I would like to thank all the participants in this hearing, the interpreters and the stenographers. This morning, I would like to welcome everyone inside and outside of the courtroom. Now, before we start with today's initial appearance, I would like to remind you that the Chamber has authorised video recordings and the taking of photographs. Please go ahead.
Je vous remercie. Vous avez une...
Thank you. You have 1 minute to take photographs and record videos.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Court officer, please, could you please call the case? Thank you, Madam President. Your Honours. The situation in the Republic of the Philippines case, the prosecutor versus Mr. Rodrigo Duterte, case number ICC 0121-0125. And we are in open session.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I will now ask the parties to introduce themselves, starting with the Office of the Prosecutor. Please pause before speaking and speak slowly to allow the interpreters to interpret appropriately. May I ask you to introduce yourself and to confirm whether the list of your staff that I received prior to the hearing is correct, Mr. Prosecutor?
President, Your Honours, good morning. The list is correct. Once again, Deputy Prosecutor Manjay Niang to my left, trial lawyer Edward Jeremy behind us, trial lawyer Robin Croft, international cooperation advisor Chantel Daniels, and our very able case manager Grace Go. I'm Karim Khan, the prosecutor.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I now turn to the counsel for the defence of Mr. Duterte. As everyone can see, Mr. Duterte is present and is attending the hearing via video link. As Mr. Duterte made a long journey involving a considerable time difference, the chamber authorised Mr. Duterte to follow the hearing at a distance. His counsel, however, is present with us in the courtroom. Thank you, counsel. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Your Honours. I am Salvador C. Medjaldea, counsel for Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, counsel. I will now introduce the chamber. By my side, we have the Judge Reine Adelaide Sophie Alapine Gansu, the Vice President of the Court, and Judge Maria del Socorres Flores Liera. I am the presiding judge of the Pretrial Chamber 1 of the Court, and my name is Julia Antonella Motok. Now, I would like to speak to you, Mr. Duterte. I'm speaking French, but you are receiving interpretation of what I'm saying in English. I understand that you are at ease in the English language and that the interview yesterday at the detention centre was conducted in English and that you did not deem it necessary to request interpretation into any other language during this interview. This said, I would like firstly to confirm your identity. Could you provide us with your full names, please?
I'm Rodrigo Roa Duterte. That's my first middle name is Roa. The surname is Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. What is your date of birth?
Again, ma'am.
Can we request that the question be repeated? I don't think he heard it. Thank you.
Repetition from the English booth. What is your date of birth? Yes, thank you very much, counsel. I was asking quite simply of Mr. Duterte what his full names were, and then I subsequently asked him what his date of birth was and what his place of birth is. Is that all right, counsel?
Yep. Of course, I do. My birth month and day is March 28, 1945. I was born in the province of Leyte in the Philippines.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. As a preliminary point. Very well. Thank you, Mr. Duterte. As a preliminary point, it is useful to clarify the nature and limited scope of this first appearance hearing. Today's hearing is neither the start of the trial, nor is it a confirmation of charges hearing. During today's hearing, no evidence will be collected or presented, and the issues of Mr. Duterte's guilt or innocence will therefore not be addressed. In accordance with Article 61 of the Rome Statute, the courts founding treaty and Rule 1211 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the main purpose of this initial appearance is to answer 3 questions. Firstly, the Chamber must ensure that the person who was the subject of the arrest warrant has been informed of the crimes of which he is accused. Second, the Chamber must ensure that this person has been informed of his rights as recognised by the Rome Statute. Third, the Chamber must set a date on which it intends to hold a confirmation of charges hearing. The Chamber notes that your counsel, Mr. Duterte, filed 2 motions, one in relation with today's hearing, and you may be aware that these 2 motions have not been accepted by the Chamber because of the nature of today's hearing. No further discussion on the matter is necessary during this hearing because, as I said at an earlier stage, the aim of this hearing today is to introduce the parties and to ascertain the charges and to set a date for the confirmation of charges hearing at a later stage. With regard to the first point, I recall that Mr. Duterte has received a copy of the warrant for his arrest and that a redacted version of the prosecutor's application for the issuance of the warrant of arrest is public. I will now ask the court officer to read the charges against him. The charges will be read in English. Please, over to you, Madam Courtroom Officer. Thank you, Madam President. Your honours.
On 7 March 2025, Pre-Trial Chamber 1 concluded that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte is criminally responsible pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the Rome Statute as an alleged indirect co-perpetrator for the crime against humanity of murder pursuant to Article 7(1)(a) of the statute as follows. A. Murder of at least 19 persons, allegedly drug pushers or thieves, killed by members of the Davao Death Squad in various locations in or around Davao City, Philippines between 2011 and 2016. B. Murder of at least 24 persons, allegedly criminals, such as drug pushers or thieves or drug users, killed by or under the supervision of members of the Philippines law enforcement, sometimes with the assistance of persons who were not part of the police, at various locations in the Philippines between 2016 and 2019.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la...
Thank you, Madam Courtroom Officer. Mr. Duterte, I'm not going to ask you to stand up because I know your condition, so I'm going to allow you to remain seated. You have just heard the reading of the charges, which are in accordance with the content of the arrest warrant you received. This means that you have been informed of the crimes of which you are accused. And this concludes the examination of the first point mentioned above. I will now turn to the second point, which concerns your rights as a suspect before this court. I will summarize some of these rights, which are of particular importance at this stage of the proceedings. Those rights are as follows. You can benefit from the assistance free of charge of a competent interpreter and benefit from the necessary translations to meet the requirements of fairness. You have the right to have the time and facilities necessary to prepare your defense, and to communicate freely and confidentially with the counsel of your choice. You have the right to remain silent, and you cannot be forced to testify against yourself or to confess guilt. You can also make statements in your defense without taking an oath. In addition to any other disclosure provided for in the statute, the prosecutor must disclose to you, as soon as practicable, evidence in his possession or at his disposal that shows or tends to show your innocence or to mitigate your guilt, or that could undermine the credibility of the evidence against you. At the confirmation of charges hearing, you can contest the charges, challenge the evidence presented by the prosecutor, and present evidence. There will be no trial if the charges are not confirmed or if the proceedings against you are completed. You have the possibility to make an application for interim release pending trial. And finally, Mr. Duterte, you have the right to be informed as soon as possible and in detail of
Jinggoy Estrada. There being 2 members present online, the chairman declares a quorum, and we now call on the committee secretary, Attorney Dana Alberto, to acknowledge the presence of our resource persons, our guests, and the other honored witnesses. Thank you. Attorney Dana, please.
Good morning. The Committee on Foreign Relations respectfully acknowledges the presence of our distinguished guests, namely, from the Department of Justice, we have Secretary Jesus Crispin C. Remulla, Chief State Counsel Dennis Arvin L. Chan. From the National Security Council, we have Director General Eduardo Año, together with Deputy Director General Nestor Erico, Deputy Director General Marlo Guloy, Assistant Director General Jonathan E. Malaya. Okay. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, we have Lieutenant General Jimmy D. Larida, PN, together with Major General Elmer B. Suderio, PA. Okay. From the Department of National Defense, we have From the Department of National Defense, we have Secretary Gilberto C. Teodoro Jr. From the Philippine Center on Transnational Crime, we have Executive Director Anthony Alcantara. Okay. From the Philippine National Police, we have Police General Romel Francisco Di Marbil, Police Major General Nicolas De Loso Torre III, Police Brigadier General Jean Fajardo. Okay. From the Department of Transportation, Office for Transportation Security, we have Administrator Arthur Bisnar. From the Department of Foreign Affairs, we have Undersecretary Helen B. De La Vega, Chief Coordinator Bernadette Felici Fernandez, and Officer in Charge Attorney Paul Saret. From the Department of the Interior and Local Government, we have Secretary Juanito Victor C. Remulla.
I'm sorry, may I interrupt? The DFA has not sent any legal representative.
Our Office of Treaty and Legal Affairs, ma'am.
Yes,
Attorney Paul
Saret.
Saret, yes.
You can speak on their behalf. Thank you.
So from the Department of Interior and Local Government, Secretary Juanito Victor C. Remulla. From the Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Finance and Administration, Office of the President, we have Deputy Executive Secretary Amante A. Liberato. From the Securities and Exchange Commission, we have Attorney Ferdino Logi S. Santiago. Okay. From the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines, we have Lieutenant General Raul L. Del Rosario, AFP, retired. And from the Academe, Attorney Alexis F. Medina. Also in the gallery, we have Secretary Mark Leandro Dong L. Mendoza and Assistant Secretary Rose Virginie B. Inigo. That will be all, ma'am.
Yes, thank you very much. And pursuant to Section 2 of the Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation, granting the Senate Committee the power to initiate inquiries if the matter is within its competence, the Committee on Foreign Relations hereby call this inquiry in aid of legislation to discuss the following. 1. The clarification of the involvement and the roles of the International Criminal Court, the International Criminal Police Organization, and the various government agencies in the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Number 2, confirmation that measures were taken to ensure that the rights of former President Duterte under domestic laws and relevant treaties were properly protected throughout the process. And Number 3, that such other matters that may aid the committee in crafting necessary legislation on the coordination between Philippine authorities and international tribunals and law enforcement organizations. Having stated the agenda, I invite you to join me view the video clips collected during the incident.
Good morning, roll po. Ano pong, sir, give me yung plano.
Ano sir, salubungin lang namin sir.
Yung warrant sir, si-serve
Hindi
nyo.
sir, may taga-PCTC, may taga-Interpol.
Interpol.
Yes sir.
So kayo ang lead, sir?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Kumusta kasi sir?
Hindi mo pwedeng...
Sige sir.
Warrant. So, you will just have to pay. Kung hindi ako papayag, kung kakampi ka dyan sa mga puti, you better go back to them and have the legal... I am a citizen of this country, a former president, and you show me a piece of paper and you're asking me to go with you. That is a serious illegal detention.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte cries out illegal detention at Villamor Air Base after he was served an arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court. The former president was arrested upon his arrival at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport on Tuesday, March 11. Duterte's arrest came amid a case before the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity during his administration's war on drugs.
For and against you in the court of law. And I want to ask you sir if you understand these rights.
Of course, coming from you, it's very clear.
Now that you're asking, sir, for the basis of the warrant, the ICC had issued a warrant pursuant to Article 25(3)(a) of the statute for crimes against humanity and pursuant to Article 718 of the same statute for murder, sir.
Buhay ko, sir. Buhay ko, sir.
Hindi ka na namin ang mga gamot na kailangan.
Sir, this is a police operation. Ito ko naman, sir. Ulitin natin ulit, sir. Sandali muna. Square one. Earlier this saying, I place the former president under arrest. Basically, sir, is for you to choose 3 people to accompany here. May bus dyan. And you will take it. Charter flight.
Charter flight from... So we need to know when you're bringing our president. Sir, we need to know please information where you are bringing.
Wala sa pig-grade ko yung
Sabihin nyo kung saan siya dalahin.
Just invoke Article 59. Bakit hindi yan magawa-gawa?
That's
precisely the point that I'm saying. That's precisely the point. The right to counsel is something that has to be observed and respected. Tanungin ko kayo, anong kasalanan ko?
katanungan. Kayo, nandito lang kayo lahat. Ikaw, tanungin kita, anong kasalanan ko?
Hihilain ko yan. Hihilain ko yan. Ako maniwala ka, hihilain ko yan. Takot akong manas. Pero hihilain ko yan. Is that our intention?
You have to kill me to bring me to him.
Is that our intention?
Ang anak mo pupunta dito.
Yes, sir. Hindi pa pasukin yan.
Hindi ninyo, ikaw,
Yes, sir.
hindi mo
Upon my orders.
hindi mo pinapasok.
Yes, sir. Upon my orders, sir.
Ang sabi ko, ang abogado ko, ang anak ko na babae,
They can visit you at your detention center, sir.
Hindi nila ako pinapapasok dito sa airbase. Nakiusap ako kung pwedeng makausap ko personal si former President Rodrigo Duterte para mabigyan ko siya ng instructions and then makabigay din siya ng instructions sa si General Marbil daw ang in charge ng buong Villamor Military Airbase. Saan ka ba naman nakahanap ng military airbase na chief PNP ang in charge at siya ang nagsasabi kung sino ang pwedeng pumasok at hindi pumasok.
But you are the second highest official dito sa ating bansa. Pero parang pamumulitika ba ito sa tingin niyo?
Alright, oo. Very much pamumulitika ito. Kahit ang ibang bansa nagsalita na.
Mabit ka namin.
Ba nagplano ng lahat ng ito?
Hindi naman. It was a group effort. Secretary Chidoro was there, Secretary Amyong was there too, and the President and I.
Maraming salamat. Ito po ang napanood ng buong bansa at ang tanging tanong, bakit natin isinuko ang isang kapwang Pilipino? Kung ang iyong kapatid ay inuusig, ipapasa mo ba sa kamay ng iba? Kung ang iyong ama o di kaya ang iyong lolo pa, matanda na at may sakit, kinakaladkad palabas ng inyong tahanan, manunood ka ba na parang wala lang? Ganito ang nangyari ngayon. Isinuko natin si Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa dayuhan na para bang wala siyang sariling bayan, na para bang hindi na natin kayang humusga sa sarili nating tahanan. Here we are watching as a fellow Filipino, a leader, a